Howdy guys! So, this video has been something that I've been wanting to do for quite a while now, and I'm finally getting around to it. I wanted them to be completely healed, or at least mostly healed, before I did a video on my cheek piercings. Yay! As any of you who have been following my channel for any extended period of time may know, I've been wanting my cheeks done for about 2 years now, and I finally got them done in January. It was January 4th where I got them done. When I got them done. Yeah, that. It was a pretty great day, when I got them done, but, I opted to do the dermal implants instead of the regular bars through my cheeks. I am a really bad sweller with every single one of my piercings, especially on this side. My right side just tends to get cranky faster, and fuck knows why. And my body likes to eat the jewelry while I'm healing as well. So that was a factor. And after a little bit of discussion with my piercist, we determined that it was a good idea to get them, or to do the dermal implants. Not only just because of the swelling issue, but as a scarring issue as well. One of my main concerns with this piercing is that cheek piercings are known for, one, their swelling, and two, they're not wanting to heal, basically. So I determined that I wanted to do the dermals because, yes, dermals do have a slightly higher risk of rejecting, but the thing is that I was, my plan was that if they were going to reject, I was going to take them out, let them heal up, and just go with the regular bars. So it was more of a, let's start here, and if this doesn't work, we'll try the normal method. Thus far, I haven't had any real issues with them. As with normal dermals, I have talked to quite a few people with dermals, and I've asked them questions about how theirs have acted, so on and so forth. Mine are in a different spot than a normal dermal. Most dermals are around the eyes, on the forehead. I have mine in the middle of my cheeks. There's no bone structure behind them, so putting them in was a little bit stressful. But by far one of the least painful body modifications I have. Obviously the least painful body modification I have is my septum. When I actually got it done, I've had it done twice. The first time it went horribly wrong. It was like this, and I bled for like a half hour. It was just a bad idea. But the second time, I didn't feel it at all. I had no problems with it healing. But my cheeks, anyway, so the process was, we went to my piercer, and I got on the table and leaned to the one side. We spent a good 20-30 minutes just marking where they were going to be to make sure that they were symmetrical and where they needed to be. It's one of those piercings where if you have them off center at all, they just look bad. Also, if you have them in too far, they don't look like cheek piercings, or if you have them out too far, it just looks wrong. So we spent a fair amount of time trying to get them like where they needed to be, as opposed like to my mouth and stuff. I do have an asymmetrical face, so all of my piercings wind up looking asymmetrical as is, but I want them to look as symmetrical as possible, and for the most part, I have that. So after carefully placement on these, we went in to start the procedure, and the way that my piercist does hers is she puts the needle in, goes this way, and then goes this way, and then puts the, I call it a foot, but the anchor in. And Some piercers like to use a dermal punch. She didn't like doing it that way. The way that she had explained to me was I'd be poking you 3 times instead of 2. So she went in, did the first hole. We did this side first. She went up and then down and then stuck the foot in and popped the little part in because you have to pop in the smaller bit. The larger side slides right in, and then the smaller bit slides underneath or pops in afterwards. You have to push it down to get it in. And that sounds terribly painful, and it's really not. This side was great. The only pain that I had was the tool that she used. You have to twist this tool into, like, screw it into the anchor so that you can pop it in. When she was taking that off, it kind of hurt a little bit because she was tugging on the anchor, and it was a fresh wound, so there's like metal in this fresh wound, and it's being tugged around. It's not a fun experience, but it really was bearable. It was one of the most bearable experiences of my life. This side bled like a motherfucker. It bled so much that I think she had to go at it twice because she couldn't see where the hole was. I may be wrong on that. I don't remember precisely, but I do remember it bled a lot. This was the side that I had the most trouble with. Initially, within the first week, this was the side that I had the most trouble with. Eventually, this side's just a dick now. This one likes to get cranky. Okay, so that's the actual process, and basically it's the same as what I told you on this side happened on this side. She just done. That's how it worked. She after you take the tool out, you put the tops on, and they're good to go. I know that some people's dermal anchors have the snap-in tops. Mine screw in, which is great for me. I really like changing my jewelry a lot, so it was a good thing for me. She also did tell me that the external bit of mine is longer. She wanted it to be longer because of the swelling issue that I have. If they had been smaller, my face would have been like with the jewelry, and that was definitely not something we wanted to deal with because that shit is painful. And that is also why I have like I have scar tissue on the inside of my lip from the back of these. So we just did not want that. So the first week was pretty hell. Not like it had been a while since I had gotten a piercing that put me on my ass, healing-wise. My lip has always been one of those piercings where I am on my ass for a good 3 days just because I'm wiped out. My body's trying to fight off any kind of infection or anything like that. I feel like any body modification, you just kind of feel wiped out. Anything in my nose, I've never had that problem, but anything other than that, I have. They were so tender. So tender. I couldn't smile for the first 2 days, which is really hard for me. Like, really hard. I got them done on my way out to Jack's and spent the weekend up there, and the whole weekend I was just like, this is terrible. I also have a severe dark pop addiction. Like, I drink that shit morning, noon, and night, and I had to completely stop drinking that because sugar is it's an inflammatory. It slows down the healing process and promotes mucus production. So in other words, it can just make your piercings very inflamed and pussy. And all of my piercings have pussed at one point in time or another, and some will say, oh, well, that's infection. Not necessarily. If your pus is any other color but white, it's probably infected. I get bloody pus. This is all getting really gross, but whatever. Um, I bleed a lot, as I'm a very good bleeder, and that sounds really bad, but I bleed rather quickly. And this one, I got a little bit of bloody pus, but this side pussed the most, because this side was the one that was. I'm gonna be an asshole after everything got. I hate this side. I just hate it. But this side gets a little tender every so often. It's tender right now. I'm just poking it because I'm a masochist. Anyway, this one does not. I have noticed that I have a little bit more indentation with them than I did before. I didn't have necessarily like actual dimples. I had the start of dimples, which whatever. Um, so I have noticed a little bit of indentation. The one thing that I am a little discouraged about is that I prefer the slight sunken look of cheek piercings, but overall I am very happy with my cheek piercings. The pussing though, I drain my piercings every night when I get them. I don't take the jewelry out. I just drain them. At least for the first like 3 weeks, I don't take the jewelry. You can't take the jewelry out here, but I didn't take the tops off. I drain them, clean them with sea salt. I got a water bottle and put saline solution in it, and would put the bottle up to my face and hold my face like this for like 20 minutes every 3 hours, I think. I would just clean them constantly. Because I'm like terrified of infected piercings. But that went on for a while. I slept with band-aids on them. After like a month, I think, they got to this point where they were very dry. Like the skin around them was super dry. I put some cocoa butter on there and they were fine. But it was just really flaky and irritated. I really can't think of anything else that I have had to have done. That's basically it. I just kept them clean. Every so often, after about like 3 weeks to a month, I'll take the tops off and clean the tops and clean underneath of them. Or I do it like once a week, but that's now 4 months later. After a month, I took the tops off and cleaned them out real good. Let my tops soak in some saline solution for a couple hours and then put them back in. Buying new jewelry though. I've ordered 2 sets of tops now. The first tops that I bought were round black balls to go on them, and they were too heavy. They were pulling the piercing this way, and so I couldn't get the ball completely screwed into the piercing. So those are something I would not recommend at all. I have to invest in some flat, they're like a half moon tops, but what I have now are these discs. They are black on the inside, and then the rest of it, it's a black encased with silver design. They're really comfortable, and I got them at 5mm. The original jewelry was 4. I really liked the 4, but it was a little too small. I really like big jewelry, so I went with the 5s, and the balls that I had were 5mm as well. I really wish the balls would have gone on correctly. When I wear them, I'm constantly worried they're just going to fall out because you can only screw them in for so far, and they hang out very far away from your face, so it could get caught on anything. I don't feel comfortable wearing them. Um, I can't really think of anything else that needed to be said about them. Well, oh, another thing that my piercist did tell me was that dermals like to infect on the inside, like behind the implant. So when I was draining them, I would put my hand in my mouth and push on the back and the sides together to get all of the fluid out. I don't know if you're supposed to do that, but I always do it with mine because otherwise it just builds up and it's not comfortable. I feel like I'm gonna die. So I drain all of my piercings. But that is something you have to worry about. Just getting the backs, making sure everything's good to go. That was just my personal experience with them. If you are contemplating getting cheek piercings or dermal cheek piercings, definitely talk to your piercist. Make sure you go to a reputable piercist, please. I cannot stress that enough. I can't think of anything else. I think that's good. I think we're good. If you guys have any more questions about any of my body modifications, please leave them in the comments below. I will leave all of my links. Oh, and this is just an announcement. I am no longer putting my Ask FM in the descriptions because I have been getting some ridiculously inappropriate questions on Ask FM. I'm sorry, but keep all your horny little fucking questions to your damn self. I'm not doing that shit. Okay? Okay. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Stay beautiful.